Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. And I've got the gorgeous tool girl Holly here back in the workshop, and we're really busy cracking on and getting finished her DR200 Trojan farm bike. This bike is going to be trekking all the way across New Zealand, right from the top all the way to the bottom of the South Island. So top of the North Island, bottom of the South Island, about 4,000 kilometres, and it's going to embark on that trip with me as the rider on about the 1st of January. 1st and 2nd of January is the planned start time. It's going to take us just over 2 weeks to do, and we need to make sure that the bike is fit for that trip, don't we?
Yep.
And we've done a full rebuild, but we've not really done anything with the engine yet. So in this video, we're going to give the engine a quick service. That's going to cover engine oil and filter, which we've already drained the engine oil from doing the previous video, the new clutch replacement. Sorry, brain fart. It's been a long day. And the oil filter is already out as well. Now, we do have, we're going to put a new spark plug in, and of course we're going to fit a new genuine Suzuki air filter. No expense spared there. Is there a part number for the air filter? There is. There's your part number for the air filter. Spark plug is a DR8EA, obviously NGK, as always, best plugs in the world. The oil filter, despite me ordering a genuine Suzuki oil filter, didn't have one. So they sent me a HF132. So we'll make sure that's the right one before it goes in, and we'll compare it to the old one. And of course we need some oil, and you need 950 millilitres of oil, approximately, to get the oil back up to the right level when you change it. And what came out, sure as hell wasn't that much. It was pretty low on oil, and the oil was pretty black, wasn't it, as well? It had been in there a long time, so definitely needed an oil change. But inside the engine looked pretty clean, didn't it, doing the clutch?
Yeah.
The inside the casing and stuff. So it's not got, it didn't have any burnt oil in there. There was no residue on the casings and stuff. So the engine hasn't been cooked, which is very important. Okay, so first job, Holly, is to refit the sump bung, the bolt there. Now, I've looked at the manual, and the Suzuki manual is really light on torque settings. It just says tighten the bolt. So what you don't want to do is over tighten it. Normally that sort of thread size bolt, 20 Newton meters should be absolutely adequate. It was very, very tight when it came out. Maybe the same guy that fitted the clutch. Oh, I've got something in my eye. What the hell's going on there? Something in the clutch, the same guy that fitted the clutch probably did an oil change, and he cranked that bolt right up, didn't he? It was a fair crack when it came loose, and it's on video, we caught that. So let's do the engine oil and filter first, and then we'll do the other bits after that. You ready?
Yep.
Excellent. Let's crack on. Here we go. Used.
You don't paint something without wiping.
Honestly. Right, Holly, if you want to wind that sump bung back in fact, let me just give it a quick wipe first. Just get rid of the last bit. It's been draining overnight as well, because we had to drain the oil with the engine cold.
Yep.
So it took a while, give it plenty of time for it all to drain out. There you go. And like I said, we're going to go for 20 Newton meters. I've already preset the torque wrench for you.
Awesome. Hello.
Going to go on. There you go.
Yeah.
We did get the right size socket. Yeah. And if you slip, you got to take the camera out. You realise that, don't you?
Here we go.
Cool. Excellent. Right. We need to in fact, there's Holly. There she is. Look. Right. I'm going to turn the torch off in case we get red eye. Focus, there we are. Right, next job, Holly, is we need to put the new oil filter in.
Cool.
So let's go and find the old one and just do a visual comparison to make sure they've sent me the right oil filter.
Awesome.
Because you never know, do you?
No, you don't.
People do make mistakes. Okay, back to the bench.
Cool.
Okay, Holly, that's the new one. You pull that out of the box. I've found the old one, so we'll do a little comparison down on the bench. Okay, pop it down on there and we'll have a little look. Okay, so we've got the aftermarket one, we've got whatever was in before. Has it got any markings on there? There's something there. What did it have before? Oh, it had an RNC 109, and underneath it's got C3K2, which is probably a batch number or something. So this probably isn't a genuine filter either, most likely. Not many people do use genuine filters on farm bikes and stuff. So, height, we good?
Yep.
Yep, happy with that. Diameter, happy with that?
Perfect.
Good job. Okay, so height and diameter are correct. Visually, it looks the same. It's got the one-way valve on there as well. And remember, the one-way valve went to the outside, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, when we took the old one out. So, assuming the guys put it in the correct way around. I mean, the engine hasn't failed, so it should be the right. Okay, Holly, that's for you. You grab that.
Cool.
And we'll head back to the bike and get the cover put back on.
Awesome.
We've already cleaned out the cover when we did the clutch, so you pop the filter in. And then you've got the cover to go over the top. Now, I'm not sure on these particular bikes whether the cover can go on in 3 different positions or only in one. By the looks of it, it's got a concentric part to it. That's not bang in the middle, is it? So,
No.
if
So
you
it
want to,
looks like it will go in this position because this is narrower.
that's
than
right.
these.
Yeah, and it's got oil filter on the outside. So if we stick that at the top, we should be good. There's us overthinking the whole situation again. Right, if I hold that for you, and you go and find the 3. It was dome nuts, wasn't it, on this one?
That's right.
If you spin a couple of those on. Now, by rights, you should really replace the O-ring. They didn't send me one. They should have sent me one, but they didn't. So at this point in time, we're not replacing it. But if we do spot any leaks, then I'm going to have to fit a new one or use some sealant on it as a temporary measure. I'd rather put a new one in if I can. But when I get up to Car Tyre, I'm going to the dealer that supplied all the bits anyway, so they can do that.
Cool.
Right, we need a torque setting, don't we?
Yes.
It's an M6 bolt, so standard is 10 Newton meters. So we'll go with that because there's nothing in the manual. So if you want to go and grab a 10mm socket, I'll set the torque wrench to 10 Newton meters. We'll just get it backed off from doing the sump bung. Okay, what have we got? 9. That's 9. 10. There we go. Right, that's for you.
Probably don't need the extension.
Yeah, you've got to get rid of that. It'll only get in the way and make it more wobbly. Is that a 10 that you got?
Yeah. Oh, no, I got an 11.
Try that. It looked a fraction big from where I was looking. So again, just do them up evenly. So do that one a bit and then do the next one a bit and work it down because we need that O-ring and the plate to sit nice and parallel, flush, to create a good seal. And it's at this point in time that you sincerely hope that one of the threads doesn't pull.
Yeah.
Because some techs tend to really over tighten stuff and then it bites you further down the line when it's not really your fault.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, phew, that was lucky, wasn't it? Okay, Holly, we need some oil.
We do.
And a funnel. Well, I've got the funnel. There you go. If you want to undo the filler, and we'll stick that in, and I'll go and grab the oil for you. Hopefully, dokely. Right, there is 950 millilitres of semi-synthetic 10W40 oil in there. Just be aware that the end of the jug's a little bit broken, so just take your time putting it in. There we go. It's a bit like watching paint dry as this part of the video. So we'll try and make it a bit more interesting. And we'll do a quick whiz round the bike just to do an update then. So it's had a rebuilt rear wheel, stainless steel spokes, new rear tyre, new brake shoes in the drum, new tube, new chain and sprockets, all the frame has been, in fact, the frame's been swapped to a trail bike frame, just so we can get it road registered for New Zealand. But I've welded on the additional bits needed to have a right-hand side stand, which is very rare on a motorcycle. Holy moly, have you done it already?
Yep.
Are you spill any?
No.
Do I really waffle that much?
Sometimes.
Oh, God. Okay, well, if you want to find out what else we've done to this bike, you're going to have to watch the videos in this series. Okay, so that's $9.50 all in.
Yep.
Okay. And the sight glass is absolutely full, which is fine because we've not started the bike. And of course, as Holley well knows, when you're checking engine oil level through a sight glass, the bike's got to be on level ground and vertical, hasn't it?
Yep.
Otherwise, if it's leaning over on the side stand, what happens?
You can't see any oil.
It looks low, doesn't it? And then you top it up, and then what? It's over full.
Yep.
Yes, not that you did. I'm not implying that you did, but some people do. That's right. Read your owner's manual, people. That's what they're there for. Okay, so we're not going to be able to do a final check of the oil level until we start the engine. But it tells us on the casing 950 millilitres of engine oil. That's what it's on the casting there. Reiterates that in the service manual. So we're going to leave the engine oil at that. And if it requires a minor top-up, once I've started it, because we're not going to start it today, I don't think. We won't get that far. Then obviously I'll give it a minor top-up.
Cool.
Okay, so you screw the cap on tight.
Yep.
Yep, cool.
So, what's next, Andy?
And I think the next job, let's chuck a spark plug in it. So we need a socket for that. Let's go and find that, Holley.
Cool.
Okay, spark plug sockets are in this one. And they're down the side there. So if you pull out those two extensions and that black one, and it's probably, because there's lots of different sizes of spark plugs in there. I think it's probably that one, but I could be wrong. Your little fingers will get in there. Possibly. If I can get it out, you can get it out, right?
In theory.
In theory. Okay, just double check that's the right socket, and then you can whip that spark plug out.
Yep.
It is? Was I right first time?
Yep.
It's not often, is it? Okay, have you got a socket, a ratchet?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I'll let you pull that one out. Now you can even, if you want to lose the ratchet, you can even use that screwdriver a bit for putting the sockets on if you want to.
Oh, it's okay.
You okay? You got it? Just be careful of the threads there, because again, we know that a numpty's been maintained in this bike, so we don't want to stress the threads there. And you do that a bit with a ratchet because the torque isn't central, so you're always pulling it to one side a little bit. So you'll be careful of that kind of stuff on, especially on older bikes. Jeez. Okay, how does it look?
Pretty black.
Yeah, black and sooty.
Yeah. Yep, doesn't look too bad.
Sorry, blanking you out to get focus. I mean, yeah, gap's good, but we're going to put a new one in anyway. So let's go to the bench. We'll do a close-up of that. Chances are it's been running really rich because it's been stop, start, stop, start. It hasn't been for a good run for a while. So, okay, back to the bench. Okay, we've got the new spark plug and, of course, the old one. Now, Holley was right. The old one is quite black. But I'm hoping that's only because it's been stop, start, short journeys, and the choke's been on most of the time as well. So hopefully you can see that. It's very hard to get that on camera because it really is sort of pitch black. But hopefully you get an idea. The gap does look about right. So you can see that there. Look, let's use my nose as the background. Perfect. Now, with a new spark plug, Holley, what do we need to do? What's important to do to it before we fit it to the bike?
You need to gap it.
Does that mean run off to the pub?
No.
I could just do to go to the pub right now. No, you're actually quite true. You've got to actually make sure that the gap on the electrode is correct, because if it's too wide, it'll overstress the ignition system and you'll get a much shorter burn time of spark. The spark in real time won't last as long because it takes more energy to jump the gap. If the gap is too small, the spark will last longer, but it'll be a very small spark and it might not actually ignite the fuel. You might get a misfire. Simple stuff, really, isn't it? Okay, so the manual says 0.6 to 0.7 of a millimeter gap. Let's check it. And to check, sorry. And to check it, we're going to, I nearly forgot, we're going to use a special spark plug gap checker that one of our viewers sent in. And this one's made by Champion. Champion makes spark plugs, but NGK make better ones. They do. Right, here we go. I mean, besides, you know, give it another 10 years we won't need spark plugs because we're all driving stupid electric cars around, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right, so I'll let you do this, Holly. I'll try and get you on camera though, so you put your hands where mine are. There's your spark plug. Now you've got round here millimeters, and it's got 1 millimeter, and it goes down in increments round to 0.4. So that's all we need to worry about around here. So we want, in fact, there's a 0.65, which is exactly in the middle of spec. Wow, well done, Champion. Let's use that one. So that should fit between the gap. If you want to try that for us, just like when you're doing valve clearances. Is it sort of a snug fit? You can feel a little bit of drag.
Yeah, it's quite snug.
That is actually. Is it good? Because 0.65, 0.7 is quite a small gap on a spark plug. Normally, NGK would set the gap slightly larger in factory. Because remember, this particular spark plug fits quite a few vehicles, doesn't it?
Yeah, it might be ever so slightly loose.
So does it feel snug? You've got to be really careful about the angle that you go in at as well.
Yeah.
Does it feel loose?
Feels ever so slightly loose.
Yeah, so we need to. So if you could try it with the next one up to see if that one is snug, and if it is, that proves that we were definitely loose on the 0.65.
That doesn't go in.
That doesn't go in. So
No.
we're not far off, are we?
Yeah.
We're not far off.
About 7.
Okay, so well, 7 is within spec, isn't it? Has it got a 7 on there or not?
No, 0.75.
Okay, well, if you haven't got one of these, you can use feeler gauges.
Cool.
So I'll go and grab a 0.7 mil feeler gauge, and we'll use that. And if that's good, then we'll leave it as it is.
Yep.
Okay.
Now then, crew, Tool Girl Holly here. Don't miss the next live stream, 8:30 AM Sunday.
Right, Holly, just crouch back down again, then we can see all of you. So 0.7. These are big automotive ones rather than motorcycle ones. So I don't really use these that often, apart from the old spark plug. Right, there's 0.65. There's 0.7. Let's just whiz all of those around out of the way. Nip it up. Give it a wipe. Always give it a wipe before you use it. There you go. Try that in the gap. And I would suggest that probably a lot more people have feeler gauge, have a set of feeler gauges than a proper spark plug gap tester.
Yeah.
End of the day, it's just the thickness, isn't it? So that
doesn't go in either.
Doesn't go in either. So we're really somewhere between 0.65 and 0.7.
Yeah.
So we're definitely within spec. So we can leave it alone, which is good. Now, one thing I do like to do on the threads, and some people say you should never do this, and NGK themselves say you should never do this, is I like to put a little bit of normally copper paste, but I've got some nice aluminium type
Nickel grease. Yes.
yeah, on there, because I don't want this plug to seize in, and it's going to be going. This bike's going in some pretty gnarly conditions.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to sort of seize. I need to guarantee I can get that plug out when I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere, in case I need to clean it or replace it. So I'll get you that. Right. There you go, Holly. That's what you need. It's already pre-brushed, so just give it a little bit on the threads, just on one side, but try not to get any on the electrode. That's important. Don't need a lot, just a little bit. Okay?
Cool.
Excellent. Right. To the bike. Yeah, that stuff gets absolutely everywhere, doesn't it? There you go, that's for you. I'm still setting the camera up. Let me go up a bit. There we are. Excellent. Right, Holly, if you want to wind that in, and I'll go and find a torque. Well, I'll go and find out if they give us a torque setting for that spark plug.
Cool.
Man, there are never any torque settings in this book. Only for the really big bolts. Okay, no torque settings, so we're going to revert to standard practice. So that's wound in a few threads by hand, is it?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So if you put the socket on and wind it in as far as you can, just using the socket, not the ratchet. Yeah, because what we don't want is put any stress on those threads, because spark plug threads and alley heads are, yeah, that's a better way of doing it, believe me. If you strip the threads in that head, it becomes a massive job for Andy to fix in the next 2 weeks.
There we go.
Now, on these, you know this, Holley, but on these, some of the viewers don't. On these plugs, they have what's called a crushable washer.
Yep.
So you can now tighten it up, and as you tighten it, the torque needed will sort of stay constant as that washer crushes.
Yep.
And then it'll suddenly go hard. You know, it'll sort of bottom out. Okay, we've now crushed the washer, and then just give it quarter a turn.
Yep.
And that's it, done. All right. All done?
Yep.
Excellent. Well, the new plug's in, so you can, in fact, let me get you some electric grease. Dielectric grease. Right, again, good practice, not done by many people, is a little bit of dielectric grease, or otherwise known as silicone grease, in there, and that helps to keep moisture out.
Yep.
Yeah, it just helps. Shall I spray that in there? Right, ready?
Yep.
I'm going to apply lube. You all right with that? Oh man, terrible. There you go. Right, so you can pop that straight on the plug. Okay, and it went click, click, click all the way down?
Yep.
If it falls off, the bike will stop. Okay, right. Oh, I can give it a wipe. Nice. Giving the bike some love. That's what we like. Okay, right. Back to the bench.
Cool.
We are cooking on gas.
Yep.
And it's not just because it's hot in here. So we've done engine oil and oil filter. We've done spark plug. We've now got to do, what should we do next? Air filter, I think. Air filter. Is that it? What else have we got to do? Yeah. So that's it. This is the last thing. So let's, well, I'll let you pull it out of the box. There you go, Holley.
Cool.
Look at that. See, cameraman in action. Doing a good job there, Andy. Making sure Holley's well framed. Excellent. Right, you can pick it out of the bag as well if you want. Genuine Suzuki air filter. Part number is, again, where was it? On the back one. I'm wobbling the camera. Can't do two things at once. 13780 42A01. There you go, if you want a genuine one. Which I would strongly recommend. Oh look, they sent me a note. What does the note say? Oh, it's in a funny language. Caution! It says here, caution! Before fitting the filter, soak the element into some air filter oil or engine oil with around SAE #30. Squeeze the oil out of the element and then fit it to the element frame A. If the air cleaner is clogged with dust, wash the element with a non-flammable cleaning solvent. So you can't use petrol. Everybody uses petrol, don't they? I'm not saying it's good, but they do. And then squeeze the solvent out of the element. Next, do the above mentioned procedure A. Check and wash the element in accordance with your owner's manual instructions. Very nice of them to remind us how to fit the filter. Good job, Suzuki. Okay, so we need to pre-oil the filter. This is a brand new filter that's never had any oil on it. And it's a really messy job. So Holley's going to do it. Right, I'm going to start to pour the oil in.
Yep.
And then what you need to do is just basically soak the filter in the oil. Just work it all into the foam and then basically squeeze it out.
Cool.
You know? You don't actually have to use too much of this. There you go, you can pull it away a bit more if you want. I need a rag. That's it, don't be shy, give it a good, squash it down, crush it, because you should see the blue coming all the way through. That's it, and just literally just do that with it, just completely squash it. Wring it out. Wait, I don't want the oil. Just your way a bit, there you go. Right, I'll give you a demo. Give you a bit more demo.
Just making sure.
Oh, you're nearly there actually. Yeah, so just squeeze the crap out of it now. It's going to flow through the rest of the filter. And believe it or not, you're actually trying to squeeze out nearly all of it again. You really don't need too much. The more oil that's in it, the more resistance to airflow, and the richer the bike's going to run.
Okay.
And sometimes, if you know, a good indication is if you start the bike and it just stalls pretty quickly and won't restart, chances are you've over-oiled the filter.
Okay.
You know, yeah. It's just knowing. If you do it many times, car air filters don't get done like this. We just chuck a paper one in and away it goes. Excellent job. What's also important is if this wasn't a new filter and we were cleaning the old filter, you have to allow them to fully dry before you then put the oil on. Okay. Yeah, and there's a reason for that. If you don't, and a friend of mine actually, somebody I came across, it wasn't not really a friend, a tech from somewhere, what say where. He'd done this on a ROV, so a side by side that you sit in for off-roading, and he'd done this. He'd cleaned the filter, but he cleaned it in petrol. Didn't let it dry properly, oiled it, stuck it in the airbox, put the lid on the airbox. It was a hot day, continued with the service, and about half an hour later started the engine. Engine popped back through the intake manifold, and the whole airbox blew apart into lots of little pieces. It blew the seat off the vehicle. You know, it was quite a serious explosion. Yep. And he rang me up and said, can we get warranty on an airbox, please? And I'm like, I don't think so, pal. And I told him what he'd done before he told me, and he went, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I said, yeah, learning curve, mate, learning curve. Okay, so we're finished with the oil. What we now need to do is we need to grease. We'll fit the cage. We'll get the oil cage out of the bike. We'll fit the cage, and then we're going to grease the sealing surface, which is around here, because we need to make sure that no air can bypass around the filter. Cool. Right, Holly, air filter time. So we need to take the old one out. If you want to whip that cover off for us. Yeah, they're a bit of a crap design, to be honest. There you go. Stick it on there. Yeah, with that. Now, looking in there, it's in a pretty bad state, isn't it? Poor little bike. Now, there should be a wing nut in the middle. Viewers will have to imagine that, because there's no way I can film in there. So you want to be turning it anti-clockwise, and it should just crack off. If not, let me know, and I'll see if I can get my hand in there and give it a crack off, just so you can do it. Is it turning? Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, just work it around. They're a bit of an awkward air filter to change on these bikes. The air filter design, the housing's not particularly good. Yeah. Some manufacturers, rather than coming from the top, they give side access, and I think Suzuki could have done that on this bike. Would have made life a lot easier. Right, we're going to need that later. We'll give that a clean as well before it goes back in. And then just see if you can wiggle it out through the hole. It's not easy. Lovely. That's really nice. I'm going to give that a bit of a clean out while you're doing the air filter, I think. So if you take it over to the bench, and then we'll get it split. Okay, Holly, that filter's going to go straight in the bin. I have no desire to keep that one. So if you just ease it off the cage. That's it, and then you should just be able to pull the whole cage out. Take a note that it went that way for the hole, so I'll get rid of that. That's, well, in fact, we can stick it there for reference if you want. Give your bench a wipe. Get all that mud and stuff. We don't want that on a new filter, do we? Definitely not. And then you can flip your other filter over, We might want to give that a brake clean down. Actually, it's got some dirt on it, hasn't it? By the looks of it.
Yeah.
We'll get you some brake cleaner. There you go. Don't spray the filter, just the cage. Cool. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's just that one edge, wasn't it? I think that was just got caught.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're filling the new filter with dirt. It's started already. And this has to be the clean side of the filter. This is the engine side. So how we're looking?
We
got it?
It's a bit better.
Yeah, a bit better's good. I'll let you know if it blows up on me. Okay, now the hole is tiny. It's just down there, look. All right. So if you insert the new cage, and then I'll give the bolt a bit of a clean, the wing nut, and then we can get this poked through, ready for fitment.
Cool.
You winning? And you just got to get that lip around the top, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's why, you know, that's the technical bit. And once you've got it, you can just run your finger under it and it'll just bring it all the way around. That's it. Oh, what a pro! You see, if I'd not told you that tip, you'd have been there like little bits at a time, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so there's your bolt. I'll clean that off. That goes in from the other side. So if you flip it over,
Cool.
and see if you can thread that through the filter and then through the actual cage itself, then it's ready to go back in the bike. Bar the grease for the seal.
I think it's very straight.
Oh, okay. Right, I'll let you work on that. I'm going to head over to the bike and clean out the airbox a little bit. You got it? Oh, fantastic. Right, so if you stick it back on your bag, that's it. And then what you need to do now is we need to grease this surface ready for fitment. So here's a bit of my hair gel, as you can see from previous. And grab some of that. And don't be too shy, and just run all the way around here, the full width, with some grease. You don't want big lumps of it, but you do need to. It needs to be a liberal quantity.
From the whole surface?
Yeah, all this surface all the way around. Yeah, that's the bit that makes contact with the airbox itself. Once that's done, can you give that lid a clean on the inside?
Yes.
Cool. How you getting on?
Good. Just finished greasing it up.
Coolio. So just the lid to do now, eh?
Yep.
Right, there's some brake cleaner for you. You just push that well out of the way so we don't get that.
How clean does the lid need to be?
Oh, not horrendously clean, just a little bit. I can get you a little brush if you want, just to break into the corners. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Just give it one more spray and just dab it with that, and it'll just get the last bits out.
Cool.
God, it's almost like this bike's been run with the airbox lid off for a while. It's horrendous in there.
Cool. That's done.
Excellent, right. Oh, look at that. Like a new one. Good job. Now, before we fit the filter, it's really important to make sure that the sealing surface inside the airbox is also nice and clean, and everything downstream of the filter is also squeaky clean. That includes this part of the air filter box as well. Upstream of the air filter, that's sort of around the inside of the airbox, doesn't have to be fantastically clean. I mean, you know, the cleaner you can get it, the better, but the most important bit is the stuff that's downstream. So take a bit of time making sure that that's nice and clean. Right, Holly, grab that new filter. Let's get it slapped in, and then we'll be all done, won't we?
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. Now, just be conscious that the bolt's the top side when you fit it.
Yep.
It's a very messy job doing air filters, so you've got to sort of ease it down, get it into place, and then do your very best to line up that bolt with the hole, you know, the thread. It's sort of one of the things that you just get a knack doing on a particular model of bike. You know, everyone's different. And the first one you do, you shout and swear at it, and you go away, have a cup of tea or a cider or whatever, and then come back and have another go. And eventually you get it. You know? What do you think? You got it?
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Bloody awesome. Well done. That saves me a job. Excellent. Right, get it nipped up nice and tight. Just double check it feels like it's sealed. The sealing surface of the filter is actually, there's no gap between it and the air box. You know where it makes contact?
Yeah.
Where we put the grease around. So if you just run your finger, one of your fingers all the way around the filter and try and get it in the gap, you know, at the far end where the grease is. So just run it right round like that to make sure that you can't get underneath, because that would indicate that the filter's not sat right. Even though you've got the bolt in, it's not actually in the right place. Because that's the critical sealing surface, you see. You feel all right?
Yep.
Fantastic. Very important that you check it. It's these little bits at the end, the double checks, that make all the difference. And then you end up not having any failures.
Cool.
Right, I'll stick the lid back on. Well done, Holley. You can head back to the bench if you want. I'll see you over there. Here we go. Done. I keep looking at your shirt going, it's the wrong colour. Oh, it's the new one, it's black. Looks very nice. I like the way it's well vented at the front. Well, there you go, crew. We've reached the end of this video. We've done engine oil and filter, we've done spark plug, and we've done air filter, haven't we?
Yeah.
Obviously, other stuff does need to be done on this bike at certain points during its usage, you know, its age, the service intervals, things like valve clearances and things. I have covered doing valve clearances on a previous video on a DR200. So if you need to get that done, just, you know, go and find that. I think it was under Toolgirl Lily's bike series, so you can go and check that one out, and that'll give you all the information you need on how to do the valve clearances on one of these particular bikes. Now, if you enjoyed the video, why not subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, turn on notifications, and that way YouTube will send you a notification as and when any new videos go up. There's over 550 videos already on the channel, maybe even more. I just don't count them anymore, they just keep going up. So, you know, if I don't put a video out for a week, then don't worry. Go into the archives, you'll find a much younger Andy and a slightly younger Toolgirl Holley in those videos, and there's also some information that could be useful. You'll also find me on
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
You will. Any of those portals, feel free to communicate. My email address is down there in the description, andymechanic@live.co.uk. Feel free again to flick me an email through. It is me that answers those emails, although I can't guarantee when I can get back to you or if I will. Sometimes one or two do slip through the net. I am a very busy chap. Now, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that through
Patreon.
And PayPal.
And PayPal.
You got it. That's right. Patron and PayPal. And again, there's information about that in the description. Those that have supported the channel, thank you very much. Those that are just about to support the channel, thank you as well. Really appreciate it. Okay, crew. Well, it's goodbye from Andy Mechanic.
And goodbye from Tool Girl Holley.
Sure is. Good job, Holly. Well done. See you next time, crew.
See ya.
Cheers. Over and out. Okay, we have the new plug and the old plug. Now, Tool Girl Holly, what's important? What do you need to do to a spark plug before you fit it back on the bike on a new plug?
You need to make sure it's got the right gap.
You phrased it differently before. You said you need to gap it. And I had a joke ready. My joke was, does that mean you got to run off to the pub? And you went, no, Andy, you've got to set the gap on the electrode. Okay, you spoilt my joke.
Shall we redo it?
Yeah, let's redo it. There you go.
Sticking pretty good. That's because I'm doing it the wrong way.
Are you doing it up? Do I need to edit it out?
Yes.
Okay, I'll edit it out. Now you stand about here, so you're in. And
Yep.
just, I don't know, just as if you're just coming from here. What's the line? Serious, Andy? Still got that ponytail? Yeah? Despair. I'm not an actor. I don't do this kind of stuff.
Seriously, Andy? Still got that ponytail?
That fly went right in front of you, didn't it? Oh, God, where is he? Where is he? Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. I've got the gorgeous Tool Girl Holly back in the workshop. Isn't she nice? Now, that sounded terrible, didn't it? I'll do it again, jeez.
What the hell, Andy?
And we get the flip up again. Oh!